Zion, put off your slumber, and the truth shall make you free. For out of Zion comes your deliverance in the year of Jubilee. Oh, hallelujah, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, YHWH. Oh, hallelujah, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, Shabbat Yahweh. Oh, hallelujah, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, Shabbat Yahweh. Oh, hallelujah, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, let us dance to Yah. Oh, let us dance to Yah. Dance to Yahweh, YisraYah'ale. Oh, let us dance to Yah. Oh, let us dance to Yah. Dance to Yahweh, YisraYah'ale. Let us shout to Yah. Let us shout to Yah. Shout to Yahweh, YisraYah'ale. Oh, let us shout to Yah. Oh, let us shout to Yah. Shout to Yahweh, YisraYah'ale. Oh, wake up, Israel. Put off your slumber, and the truth shall make you free. For out of Zion comes your deliverance in the year of Jubilee. You have done for us, Yahweh. And we know there's nothing that we could do without you, precious Abba. Oh, we rebuke you today, Abba Yahweh. Oh, never forgetting, Abba Yahweh, that precious dome that we shed for us, Abba Yahweh. Oh, that's why we give your precious name and honor, Abba Yahweh. Because you continue to show your power toward us, Abba Yahweh. Or even in our little trials, Abba Yahweh, that we go through, Abba Yahweh. Sometimes we don't understand, Abba Yahweh. All we can do is just give it unto you, Abba Yahweh. We know you understand what we're going through, Abba Yahweh. We know you understand the many tears that we have shed, Abba Yahweh. We know, Abba Yahweh, you're the one, Abba Yahweh, no one else that can comfort us and give us shalom, Abba Yahweh. We know you're the only one, Abba Yahweh, to take us through this battle that we have to endure, Abba Yahweh. We know you're the only one that can give us the victory, Abba Yahweh. Because, Abba Yahweh, there's only one, Abba Yahweh. And there's none like you, Abba Yahweh. And all the Hashemites and all the old lambs, Abba Yahweh. Oh, it's only one that we trust in today, Abba Yahweh. Only one that will take us through this short journey that we on, Abba Yahweh. And that'll give us the victory, Abba Yahweh. That we make it to the end, Abba Yahweh. Oh, it's only you, our great King, Abba Yahweh. Oh, precious Abba Yahweh. Have your way in the midst of this house today, Abba Yahweh. Just show the need a touch today, Abba Yahweh. Strengthen us today, Abba Yahweh. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh, Torah Yahweh, Abba Yahweh. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Let us stand to our feet, nation. Blow the trumpet in the mouth of Yahweh and YHWH. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. Which is the Hashemayim. Kadosh in your mighty name. Your Melkut to come. Your will be done. In earth, Abba Yahweh, and in the Hashemayim. Give us this day our daily lesson. And forgive us our debt, Abba Yahweh, and we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil, Abba Yahweh. For yours is the Malkuth, the power and the honor, Abba Yahweh, forever, Abba Yahweh. So be it, Abba Yahweh. May it be fulfilled in the precious mighty name of Yahshua HaMashiach. Your Malak Baruch the house this day, Abba Yahweh, with the wisdom, Abba Yahweh, and your derim your word to your nation, Abba Yahweh. You may soon turn and come back unto you, Abba Yahweh. And we may come back to the straight and narrow way, Abba Yahweh. Uproot and tear down. Make us that perfect man of your son, Yahshua HaMashiach, I pray. Hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Where we going?
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. For this is the Yom, this day that Yahweh has made, YisraYah'ale. Hallelujah. And we shall rejoice and be exceedingly glad in Yahshua HaMashiach. Hallelujah. So let us lift our voices, let us clap our hands, and sing unto Yahweh. Come on, YisraYah'ale. Yeshua HaMashiach. wonderfully made, YisraYah'ale. So we give Yahweh all praise to his name. Come on, I will praise Yahweh. For I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my lips doth cry will. Praise Yahweh, come on. I will praise Yahweh, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my lips doth cry will. How precious are your thoughts unto me, O Yahweh. How great are the sums of men. How great are the sums of men. I will praise Yahweh, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my lips doth cry will. How precious are your thoughts unto me, O Yahweh. How great are the sons of men. How great are the sons of men. I will praise Yahweh, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my lips doth cry will. I will praise Yahweh, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my lips doth cry will. I will praise Yahweh, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my lips doth cry will. I will praise Yahweh, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are your works, and that my lips doth cry will. And that my lips doth cry will. And that my lips doth cry
Hallelujah.
Delight in the presence of our Father on this great day that He has set aside. We come and fellowship with Him. It's almost like busy schedule of the Ish and the Ishur that it was set aside one day of the week and nothing would be that day or the activities of that day. I've tried it many times. It lasted a while. It never worked out with great fruition that I continued in that path. But he has set aside a day for us. It is called the Shabbat. That as a child Father, he commands us to rest, delight, and to enjoy his presence above all the circumstances, situations that trouble us. We can gather in his presence, and I do delight in the presence of my groom. I want to say greetings to you all that have joined us on the live stream today. We greet you in Yahshua's mighty name. May the riches of Yah fall upon you and all that's in your household this day. I want to teach. Let me emphasize first of all, I'm going to take us back to Head Starts. We don't know the elementary things of Yah.
Yes.
And so I'm going to take us back to Head Starts. Whereby things could be, should be more impressionable upon that young mind that delights in simply the gathering of others, one's equal, great delight, rejoicing. And it's a fun day. So we're going back to not elementary, but Head Start.
Yes.
I want to begin this teaching with some elementary things.
Hallelujah.
Because you can never understand or know unless you understand the elementary things of truth.
Hallelujah.
You got every scholar today and quote the prophets of the Lord's, unquote. They are administering the dynamics of Torah. The mark of the beast. They have defined it.
Yeah.
They know the preciseness of it. And they all can tell you that it is the chip.
Yes.
Which one?
Yes.
You that are intelligent scientists, you know that there are even 5 types of chips. And so those that are the prophets of the Lord's want to emphasize that. On every street corner, in the metroplexes of these large cesspools of darkness, the ignorance is beyond profound.
Yes.
They don't even know what they're saying. They're simply repeaters. The mark of the beast. What is it?
Yes.
I will not answer one thing outside the perimeter of Torah.
Hallelujah.
I will not force my opinion, my judgment, or assessment unless it's according to Torah.
Yes.
Unless Torah identifies precisely line upon line and the chatu there matches up with this one, and the one in the prophecy gives us open revelation. It must do that.
Hallelujah.
I want to give us some elementary knowledge this morning. Forgive me, not elementary, but Head Start.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
I'm a student of Torah. I labor to understand. I'm not just talking,
Yes.
but I labor to understand. So, with my inquisitive mind, I wanted to search the World Wide Web. The mark, the beast, and the chip. You must understand, quote, the prophets of the Lord, unquote. They resonate the same kind of damnable lies as the Alex Joneses of the world. They listen to him. They draw from this man's commentary. I draw from the book and from wise men and those that counsel me in Torah. Let me go here first. This is Head Start. I searched the internet. There were things that I was inquisitive about. I wanted to know. I wanted to understand the number of websites there are. 1,900,297,500. There are between 300 and 500 websites added every minute. Every minute, there is someone with some kind of doctoral thesis or some kind of scholarship on things they know not of. That was inquisitive. 3.4 billion internet users. 2017 until 2018, there were 5,200,000 websites added. Now, I want us to understand the complexity of this delusion. So I wanted to go a little farther than that. So I wanted to search out how many articles, books, let me go there first. As far as books concerning the mark of the beast, 40,000 books in circulation today. All of us together will not read 40,000 books in our lives, as well as you that are listening. You must understand, if a book does not have copyright, I can take your book, alter the few words, I can republish it to my clientele. And there are tens of thousands, millions of books that do not have copyright patent. So I can take that book, put my name as the author, and then I can recycle the same twisted, damnable theses. Yes. So I looked up the RFID. This is the implantation of the chip. You would think with the modern day technology, why would they use something that is so antiquated? Right. A chip. Just on that alone, there are 138,000 articles on that, on the internet. How much information is on the internet as to how to avoid the mark of the beast? There are 31 million article documentation to tell you how you can sidestep the mark of the beast. This is just the proliferation of some of the most acidine ignorance of mankind. What is the mark of the beast? The question I asked, see what kind of informative information I can find. I didn't want to read, and I did not read any of them. I wanted to know how much of writings on the internet that I can search the World Wide Web and find information on what is the mark of the beast. Small number here in comparison. There is 193 million articles just on that one form of information. All these that identify as, quotes, prophets of the Lord, unquote, this is where they draw from for information, thinking they are speaking something that you can find. What I speak today, the only place you're going to find it is in the book.
Hallelujah.
And from this messenger of simplicity, there is a plethora of articles on the internet. We're going to Head Start first. Don't worry. This is an article from Baker's Evangelical Dictionary of Bible or Biblical Theology. It's by Walter Elwell. I can tell the man's study was astute because he used words that I understand the meaning of them. And there's one thing that he points out. I want to read just a small portion, all right? Revelation 16:2 and 19:20 cites the mark of the beast as a sign that identifies those that worship the beast out of the sea. Revelation 13:1. The beast is usually identified as, quote, the Antichrist, unquote. I will read in his verbiage how he and his diction of this article. The mark is first mentioned in Revelation 13, 16, 17, where it is imposed now. You notice the words he used, imposed. It is imposed. It is imposed, one having no choice. It is imposed on humanity by the beast out of the earth. Revelation 13:11. The second beast is the false prophet, Revelation 19:20. And it says that he forces those to worship this one that is identified as the Antichrist. And then he used this word, and he brands. B-R-A-N-D-S. And he brands those who do so with the mark. You notice what he says? Don't forget. Because I'm going to teach us some of the basics of Head Start. All right? Yeah. Which the numbers announced in Revelation 13:18 as 666. Now this is where he writes here, because I understand what the word harachma. I didn't get the word from harachma or that identity and wisdom of it from this article. I understood it. And so in the Greek terminology, I understood what harachma, harach, H-A-R-A-C, R-A-G-ma, harachma. I understood what it defined. So that was somewhat of a slither of informative information I exactly concur with that. He said the term mark, M-A-R-K, has no specific, special biblical use apart from the association with the beast. The Greek, see, this is where I knew he was on some level of the market. The Greek term, harachma, was commonly used for imprints on documents or coins. That's how the word developed. You're going to find out specifics. Yes. What does it define? What is the mark of this beastly nature of man? He calls us wild asses that brave when we have more than enough. These are the words of Yah. Yes. You are offended, take it up into the heavens. Go sit down with him. All right? Yes. It says Harakma is well attested to have been an imperial seal of the Roman Empire used on official documents during the 1st and 2nd centuries. This term does not occur in the Septuagint, and it is used and never used in the church fathers is insignificant. So you know that his theology, his approach has come from the Roman theological empire of the world, and so there are things that he will negate because he's not wise enough to understand. But he says the only other reference of Harakma is in the Brit Hadashah, beside Revelation in Acts 17:29, where it stands for an image formed by arts. Acts 17:29. I want you all to take time and write down these verses because I want you to go back. And then I want you to challenge me. He said a more common term for the words mark or brand, it's stigma. It is a noun, but it is utilized in the form of a verb, an action word. It possesses action. It's not a thing or place, but it is an action. He talks about how branding was a part of the establishment of the Roman Empire. I will show us, because when I see words like that, I search the Torah and see what it says. They are in the book. He talks about Ptolemy and the ruthless kingdom, how they would brand the people of Yah. And he tells us here in 3rd Maccabees. I want to read that. 3rd Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 29. This is what it says. Those are the Yahudim of YisraYah'ale, those who were registered are also branded on their bellies. This is the power of this insane government, Ptolemy, that they will brand those that were YisraYah'ale on their bellies and on their bodies by fire with an ivy leaf. It was the symbol. It was a symbol of the empire, and they shall also be reduced to their former limited stature. In essence, you have carried on your great traditions. You have been elevated above people and nations, but you're going to be branded, and you're going to be reduced back down to statures that are limited. You're not going to be exalted. You're not going to be above anyone. That is what the branding is for. You understand? Yeah. Yes. You must understand this word mark. What it implies. What is the mark of the beast? This is what he says. He talks about this was a symbol of the Grecian religion. And then he goes here and he talks about the mark of Cain. In Genesis 4:15. Now I was a student. I knew this before I read 10. He says in Bereshit 4:15, the words marked there, it is rendered Simeon in Greek. You have heard me use the word Simeon countless of times. Yes. It is a word that identifies with miracles, that Hashatan will perform great Simeon. And the word and the language of our forefather, it is Moveth and Mape. It is Mape and Moveth. He said the word is Simeon. It's the illusion of the man. It is the power of Naw-khawsh. I'm going to break down every element today, all right? Yes. I'm going to break it down. He said it is the word Simeon. That's what it implies. I want to ask us a question before I go a little further. I open up the Torah talking about the mark, are we not?
Yes.
And I want to get into the depths of this teaching. When Yah implies, let me read this thing. I'll tell you where to turn. Galatians. Is this a mark or a burn on the belly or a brand? Shaul says in Galatians 6:17, for henceforth let no man trouble me. Why? He says, I bear in my body the marks of Yahshua HaMashiach. So is there something that is visible? Harachma, he said, Simeon, I bear the powerful working of the miraculous power of Yah. I bear that mark in me. Can I give us an example? In the old days, I would hear the people say, he's a marked man. They could tell by the attitude. They could tell by how one walked. There was no mark on one. You would hear the old folks say something bad is going to happen to her. She's a marked girl. She was marked. And they could sense and they knew. This is what Shaul is saying. There was no physical indication of a mark. They don't understand the numerics of 6. 6. 6. He said, I bear my body, the marks of Yahshua HaMashiach. God, he says here, writing to Philippi, I will cause us to understand this. Philippians chapter 3, verse 14. He says, I press toward the mark. What is the mark? Who can tell me how high is the mark? The same grammatic construct, I press toward the mark of the high calling of Yah in Yahshua. Is it an idiom? Okay. Let it be an idiom. Well, what is an idiom? It is a language that's spoken that is beyond the comprehension that you assume it implies one thing, and it doesn't mean that. I press toward the mark. I bear in my body the scars, the pains, the affliction, the suffering, the agonizing. Yahshua HaMashiach. Now we know that Yah doesn't command us to be marked or brand. Let me read. Yah cannot go against his word. Yirah says, 1928, Leviticus 19:28, you shall not make any cutting in your flesh for the dead, nor print any marks upon you. I am Yah, your Abba. So he did not command the Yehudim to receive the branding in their bellies. It was because of the ignorance of their sins and their wickedness. And this word's mark here in Yirah is called Henachah. Henachah. Is that not the name of Chayan? His name is King. It is Chayan. Kanachah, the mark, the writing upon one. Did Yah literally write upon him? Or as the old one would say, he's a marked man. She's marked. Oh, baby, I just know that child is marked. I can see it. I know the mark of death. They would say those kinds of words. So there is an explosion today concerning the chip identity. the microprocessors. Which type is it? You would think that these, quote, prophets of the Lord, unquote, will know the dynamic of chips. If I ask all of us, when was the first microprocessor developed? You must understand mainframes, when IBM started building them, for a company of IBM size now, it would fill 50 buildings like this. They were huge. They were monstrous. They were big. And the heat that they produce, that's what they were. Now, I want to give us a history of the chip because I know when this thesis of a lie started. As I put in the newsletter, I remember when Elder Rogers gave me a book. It was the mark of the beast, the chip. It had a man that was a Caucasian standing, had a man as a Caucasian with his hands over his head. And it says the mark of the beast, the chip, 666. In the newsletter, I said, I want you all to wake up now, or stand up, okay? Wake up or stand up. It says in the book, I read a few letters of the forwards, and I said in the newsletter, I didn't open the book, but in essence, I did not try to ascertain any information from it. I knew it was a lie. I looked at it, never picked it up again. Never, because I knew it was false. I know when this thesis started, because if I ask us all, I would tell us, when was the first processor? I'm not talking about the first microprocessors. The first of us were not even born. You will not even know. I don't know, you don't know. He, she, and these two elders. Let me show you the history of that. All right? Yes. It tells us, it says this. The silicone, that's what they use. The silicone chip was invented in 1961. Those men with the theses of Hebrew Israelitism, those men had to be born in the 30s and 40s. They could not have been born in the 50s. Those that were the founders of this. 1961, I was a boy playing in Mud Hills. I was in elementary school. So in 1961, we had the plasma televisions today. Back then we had tubes. 1961, when this thing we call the chip or the silicon chip, it was done by two electrical engineers. One was the name of Jack Kilby and Robert Noisy. The creation revolutionized and militarized technology and paved the way for development of modern day computers. So 1961, a silicon chip, how would they even get that in you? And this is when the thesis of that began to erupt. Because it was in the 80s when the brother gave me the book on the mark of the chip. It says this: half of the year after Kilby and Noisy of Fairchild Semiconductors developed a new variety of integrated circuits, more particular Kilby implementation. Noisy designed and made a silicon whereby Kilby's chip was made from that. He can tell us that there are at least 5 types of chips. Now that was in 1961. What we know as the development of the microchip. Can I read this?
Yes.
I will. Intel, and that's all you're going to get back then. I know IBM, everything was Intel.
Yes.
And they were huge. Chips and all, the microprocessors, and all that, they were huge. And we still had some science to that. Intel first microprocessor, the 404, that's what it was conceived by Ted Huff and Stanley Mazur, assistant in Mitsubishi, Shima, Fredco Fagan used it. His experience in Silicon Gate MOS technology in 1968, Millstone, this is what he did. Fagan, to squeeze the 2300 transistors into a 4-bit. What will a 4-bit do today? Nothing! A 4-bit MPU into a 16, and that's what they were back in the days. He was still an IBM. Into a 16-pin package. When? 1971. That's when there was some kind of informative information about the microprocessor. And you saw in the latter 70s, not in the early 70s, when I began to work with y'all in those days in the mid-70s, and in the early 80s, you began to see this, what they call the microchip. I knew it was a lie because it was stupid. It was not of y'all. I never bought it. Yes. But all these that are called the prophets of the Lord, unquote, it amazes me that they identify this dirt of the earth, the white man, the white boy, as Esau. And every damn dropling of anything about microchips being the mark of the beast, it comes from Esau, that they say is the devil. Yeah. The devil is not going to show you his hands. This is the ignorance. It is pronounced. And there are those that will talk about this microchip. They don't even know what a microchip. They cannot tell you one class of the microprocessors or anything. They couldn't tell you the difference between a gigabyte and a terabyte. And that's just a fact. But quote, they are the prophets of the Lord. Unquote. I buy it. Because I know that they are the prophets of Baal. Yes. I know that they are the prophets of Baal. That's how you enunciate the word Lord in the tongue of Abraham. It was Baal. That's how you enunciate or announce the husband of the wife. She would say, my Baal, or my Lord. He's the one that has jurisdiction over me. And so all of these individuals that are wise on the chip knowledge and they are ignorant, all of this comes from, quote, the one that they identify as Esau, the devil, unquote. He's the one that the publications have been written by. I don't know if any matter my hue, I wouldn't know anyway that I've written one thing on the mark of the beast. And all those that are wise, where are they? It comes from this cesspool of religious theology. Truth. And that's the fact, nation. Yes. So you were not even born in 61, many of us. So you tell me that you had to wait until 1961 to even through the ignorance of man to develop the process of the processes to let you know what the mark of the beast was. I will show you from the Bereshit to the end. Yes. What the mark of the beast is. Yes. And it's a fact. You understand? Yeah. So how can you elaborate on the mark of the beast talking about a processor? You don't know one type of what processor is used. That shows the sound of an ignorant, dumbish individual. Yes. It shows someone that lacks stability and the capacity to learn. because they will buy any kind of devious lie, because they know that they're superficial. We're still in Head Start, all right? They cannot prove one thing. I know this is informative information. You can go anywhere and get it. It's not difficult to find this. You can prove me a liar. You can prove the article a lie. I know it's the truth. I know what we were using at IBM. And those things that had a little more power, those processors, they kept that in. I was one that was in charge of that. You had to inventory those parts every day, and not one could be missing. They had investigators, their own police force at IBM. And I did a miscalculation one day on my job. I said, oh my. I thought parts were missing. I counted for an hour or two. I went back over everything. I went home and I was so nervous. I said, oh yeah, please, I don't know what to do. And I got to work early that morning, and I looked at, first thing I started at, I looked at the records. And there it was, my subtraction was wrong. I went back over everything. I began to feel better. I went over it again. I began to feel even better. I went over it again. And I knew it was right. I went over it again. And I knew I was happy. I was going to lose my job. Because they were fired me. Those parts were kept secretive, were locked up. You can buy them all day long for nickels and dimes. They are cheap. And that's just a fact. You understand? So how does a young man born in 1985, a prophet of the Lord? I have no disputing with that, with these young men. None. I won't dispute that at all. I believe that they are, quote, the prophets of Baal. I know that they are prophets of the Lord. Because they are the conveyor of some of the most foreign lies. They trust men like Alex Jones, and he was going through divorce. He said, you know that I'm an entertainer. Some of the most outlandish kinds of conspiracies. Yes. And they listen to him. They embrace Alex Jones, that dispute even them. A son of Esau, and this is where your strength comes from. You buy his lies that ridicule you and debase you, and a simple messenger of Yah, you will fight against him. Yes. I knew about Alex Jones before any of them. I thought he was a clown back then, and he's a clown today. I will not waste my precious time listening to a fool like that. Yeah. You've got to be a fool. Yes. Listen to him. Yes. Fool. Hallelujah. Yeah. I want to get into my teaching now. I want to begin here. You all wake up or go stand up. That's all right with me. Listen to what it says, all right? Yeah. Get yourself a brush. Go wash your face or something. This is what the Torah says here in Bereshit. Khan. Khan implies that he is the one that is the possessor. He says in Bereshit 4:15, we can see the kara of Yah he poured out upon this man Cain, because he killed his brother. We can see the power of that spirit, Naw-khawsh, because there's a little bit of the daddy's DNA, and there's a little bit of the mama's DNA in every child. It is half. It is half. Yes. You cannot identify a child unless you got the DNA of the mother and father, and it will give you the proposition, the components of one's DNA. And that's a fact, whether you, quote, prophets of the Lord, unquote, buy it. And these are the ones that if they go to jail and they depend on the DNA, they're going to thank their Lord that the DNA made me free. That's a fact. But this is the scenario here that Yah said to Cain. He said, I want to ask you, why do you kill your brother? Why have you allowed that Naw-khawsh, that violent, idolatrous mind? That's how it was introduced. That the day you defy Yah, you can challenge his authority. You can defy him. Because you will be equal, you will be like him. You will be of the same stature, magnitude, and of the same strength. Yah made me. That's why he commands us to honor. Kabod A'ima Elva. I don't care what they've done to you. You don't blast your mouth off and call her names or him names. That's a fool. He said, you have harach. You kill him, and I'm sending you away from me. Mind that becomes so delusional. The mother could see that that boy's mind was marked. He has no sense of balance. That's why she knew he was marked. The father knew that he did not see the markings of his genetic traits in that child. Because the father was sensible. He was not foolish. And he see the markings of that boy. And they are not familiar. They are not his markings. It did not come from his DNA. He has no traits of him. And he wonders, he ponders, what did I do wrong? Yah has done nothing wrong. He said, I want you to know that therefore, whoever killed Cain, vengeance shall be upon him sevenfold. And this, I want you all to remember these two words here. He set a mark soon. He appointed. He positioned. He soon. He established Cain. He set him in the direction of that mark. And what would be the result? Yah would have to embellish, or what I read in YHWH, to put a mark upon Cain, to put a tattoo, as the heathens did for their gods, to put a brand upon him. He would be absolutely wrong. Under Torah, you can throw away YisraYah'ale. So he put a mark. He put an oath upon Cain. That people, when they would see him, they would say, I don't want to mess with him. There's something about him. You ever heard people say that? I have. Yeah. Is there something about that boy? I can't get it in my mind what he's about. It's just something, he just scares me. There's something about that girl. I don't trust her. You never heard that kind of language? Yes. There's something about him, it just doesn't sit well with me, because that one is marked. And so when Cain would travel and they would see him, there's boy, something about him. You see his eyes? Something about his eyes look all like death in his eyes. Look like he will hurt you in a minute. No, the baddest cat in town did not have the title on his forehead that I'm the baddest cat in town. You knew he was the baddest cat in town by reputation. You can look at him and say, boy, I don't want to mess with him. And so that is what this is implying. Yah did not prescribe some lettering or numbers on his forehead. It's silly. It's insane. He did not put a chip in Cain. There's nothing new under the sun. You've got to be a foolish man and an immature person to know the lies of the ones that you call your oppressor, that you call the sons of Esau. You're ignorant. You're stupid. You tell me Yah would give some unlearned man the knowledge of that. And you buy the books by the tens of thousands. It shows you the insanity of the stupidity of the people. I'm not talking about those that know not Yah. I'm talking about those that say they know him. They know of his name. They know of Torah. They keep the Shabbat. I'm talking about those fools. Yes. He did not put a brand on him. He would have disannulled what he told. You think the Torah of Yah Was not with him from the beginning. You think what I read in chapter 19:28, you don't put no mark upon your body. You think that that enterprise was developed with Moshe? We are crazy. Yahshua came in the fullness of the vine. He was there in the beginning. He came in the beginning. It was here. So you think the mark is something newer? Yah knew that the reservoir of darkness would be open when he gave man the pleasure, not only to please him, a will. He chose right, wrong. He gave them that from the beginning. Every tree you can eat, but the dark one don't eat. And the spirit of Naw-khawsh, a rebellious, idolatrous ignorance, overtook. Because she did not rely upon the rush, the power of her rush, her head, the enemy seduced. And because of his delight in her, he wanted a helpmeet, what Yah gave him, an Ezra. He became complicit. He became complicit. And out of that birth you saw one that was violent, one that wanted to please Yah. So how can he be the chip? That's all right, don't worry. You that think it's a chip, keep thinking. You're going to have to prove that to me from Torah. I'm going to prove you how silly, how foolish it is. Something just happened in 1961. And in the mid-70s when they really began to develop, any kind of microprocessors. IBM at that time, they had buildings with nothing but mainframes that were massive. They were massive. That's what they had. Nothing but that. Just the process. And now you can process billions of bytes within seconds with the microprocessors, the little chips. You can. There's technology greater than that. Why would they need a microchip? They got iris, retina identified. That is so stupid. They can alter that. They got drones. I was reading which one of those planes. It is a Phantom. It is, what is the one? That thing gets up about 5 miles in the air. You can't even hear nothing 5 miles in the air. You don't even see it. That thing can take 60,000 pictures a minute. Every detailed graphic. They can map the entire world. They can know they know where everyone is. Why would they use something so asinine, so neonic to mark? To put a chip. Or they're going to put a chip in your hand. That's not what the right hand represents. It doesn't. YisraYah'ale. This is stupology. It is stupidity at its greatest. Let me move a little further. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Now the reason I said I want you to keep that in mind, that Yah sat upon him. Now I want to define the word S-E-T. I know that you're too smart. And you're much smarter than me. And so you will know what the word means. But this is what, it has the same connotation in the Greek and the Hebrew. And I want to identify every last one. It says in the English vernacular to put something or someone in a particular place. He sat. He put him in a particular place and placed a particular position or posture. S-E-T as a verb, not S-E-T as a noun. To place in some, listen, to place in some relationship to something or someone. So he placed him in a relationship of something, someone with him. He set a mark upon him. This is your destiny. This is the way you're going. That was the fact of the matter. There was no print or brand on his forehead or on his belly. It was not that. Yah would have defined his own Torah. The Torah is not something new with Moshe. Before Moshe, they had the Torah in their hearts and they kept it. Yes. As a fact. Hallelujah. I want you to remember that he sat. There's another thing I want you to remember. Revelation, the mark of the beast. Revelation 13:16. There are just 4 words I want to read. And he causes all. And he causes all. He set the mark upon Cain. He put him in a position. He directed him. He sent him toward. And Cain, when he would tell them, my name is Cain, I'm the one that possess, people could see that there is something that is different about him. Something that is quirky. They knew the mark. It was not because he had something in his head. They knew that. They knew that. They knew you don't mess with him. I'm telling you, and the word would spread. Leave him alone. He's a butcher. Don't you know he killed his own brother? It's almost like someone going to prison. They don't have to put a mark on their forehead that I killed a police officer. But when they goes in there from killing a cop, he has creeds. He got creed. I don't care who he is. I don't care how small he is, how skinny he is. If he kills a police officer, he got creed. Among the baddest of the baddest. Among the baddest of the baddest. He got creed. One goes in there for molesting a child, he got death sentence on him. That's a fact. Molesting a child, will kill him. One goes in there for killing a cop. He's not the baddest boy. He didn't kill him with his hands. He killed him with a pistol. But he got credence. Then we would give him crap when he come in. They know when you come in what you're in there for. He can get commissary's own credit from the boys. That's a fact. So there was a mark set. It says in Revelation, and he causes. He causes. He causes. What does that mean, or the idiom of the word? Cause is to cause or bring it about. That's all it is. You bring it about. As Yah sent Cain forward, he brought everything about YisraYah'ale. That is why the nature of Naw-khawsh, when Chava disavowed Yah, it caused her to do things that were totally defiant of the Torah that Yah put in the bosom of Adam. That's what he did. He gave them the law. He gave them the Torah of life, the Torah of witness, the Torah of visitation. And because he did that, he would visit him. And when he defied that Torah, he put him out and put the melech in there with a revolving sword. This sword doesn't miss. That's why it is powerful, it's sharp, it cuts. It's a two-edged sword. We need to understand these some elementary things. And that's what it means. That's what it declares. He set the mark upon Cain. Yah did. Yah did. And the one that shall arise, it will cause us. Because we're inquisitive, because we defy Yah. That's what it will do. Hallelujah. I want to deal with one thing. You will not understand the depths of revelation when I get there. But I want to set the forward. I want to lay the platform here. And I want to begin here in Ezekiel. I want us to understand what Yah commanded here in Ezekiel. I want to finish this today. And then I will get into the depths in part 2. This is a long teaching. There are many, many pages of Torah and to give us total understanding of what is written. So I want you to follow along with me and write these verses down. And we're going to move to Torah and see if the witness is true. If it's not true, reject it. I said to my friend yesterday, if I don't bring out the essence of this truth, and if it's something that I've drawn from the internet or fabricated, get away from me. You and your wife, get out of here. Don't even speak to me again. And that's to you all. Look what it says in Ezekiel. A time of great idolatrous corruption of sin among his people. And that the heart of Yah was weary with a corrupt, evil, sadistic people that he had cared for. He had shown us his kindness. He had been there when there was nothing there for us. And so he raises up the Nabi, the prophet, the messenger, Yeskel. He begins here, chapter 9, verse 1. He said, I heard this volume of a Quran. He says he cried. Yes. He cried. He says, in my ears. He said it was not just any voice, but it was a loud voice. The command of Yah, he says, cause them that have charge over the city, I want them to come near me, to draw near unto him. And that's what you need to do with a clean heart, and not your foolishness and your childlike ways. But he said, draw near unto me. He said, draw near, even every man. I want you to make sure you have your khalid, your destroying implement. And I have my implement of destruction. It is the Torah, the word of Yah. It's sharp. And I don't come here to appease us, make you like me, or be satisfied with me. You know, as I was speaking, and I speak all the time to Yah, he doesn't answer me. And I said, Yah, what is wise counsel? Can I tell you all? I want to teach on this. Can I tell you what wise counsel is? Will you believe me? This is what wise counsel is. Wise counsel, you will say from a wise man or someone. No, that doesn't mean it's wise counsel. Wise counsel is this. Anything one says to you cause you to examine your heart. That's wise counsel. I don't care if it's a drunk on the street. Yeah. And show you if you're silly, you're silly. If you're immature, you're immature. Anything, I don't care if it's a child. That's wise counsel. When they cause you to examine you, it's not counsel. Everything that a parent says to a child will cause the child to examine them. Not to examine the parent, because we're so foolish. We don't like wise counsel. We don't, I said it again, because we're so foolish, we don't like wise counsel. We don't want nobody to say anything to us that offends. We're so cheap and weak. I don't care who we are. We get upset about nothing. We're going to get back to this. Yeah, the morning my Isha says to me, she says, what's wrong with you? And I wasn't going to lie to her. Yesterday morning, I believe, I said, I'm just foolish, stupid this morning. How could she know that? Because of my expression. She saw and she knew it. I didn't lie to her. And sin made her repent. Like, okay. Her look even changed when I said, I'm just silly. I'm hurting, and I'm just silly, baby. We're not honest with each other. We're liars, and y'all hate liars. We will lie, and we know that we are offended by the smallest of matter. Something is evil about that, Hakim. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's him. I don't care if it's you. It makes me no different. But that's why it comes. When it calls you to examine you. Not to examine him. But if it makes me examine me. That's wise. Because of the pure, all things are pure. Those that are defiled and unbelieving, there is nothing pure. Let me go on now. He said, cause them to draw their weapons. Verse 2. Now I want us to hear this precisely. He says to behold, 6 men came from the way of the upper gate, the entrance, where the offerings and where the pouring out of the smoke of the acceptance of Yah, of the upper gate, which lies toward the north. Every man, a killing weapon in his hand. Semicolon.
Yes.
Then there was one man. It wasn't YisraYah'ale. It identifies one man. Does it say one man?
Yes.
One man among them was clothed with linen. And this is where you have to understand how to examine or your forensic skill sets. The Torah used the word boots, B-O-O-T-S. It deals with linen, fine linen. It used the word spats, B-A-D. When it used the word boots, it is a linen that has been bleached, colored, dyed. When the Torah used the words B-A-D, bad, it tells you there is no impurities in that linen. It's pure. It's clean. This man was the only one identified as the way he was dressed. He had on bad. As in the days, one would say he's bad to the bone. He's dressed to the deal. He's a bad dresser. So B-A-D, B-O-O-T-S, the implications are different. I want to show you something. You cannot get an interpretation of Torah from the internet, from your silly immature ways. It doesn't come that way. He saw 6 men. What is the number 6 in Torah? It identifies one thing: the wickedness, the violent, reprehensible nature of a people. That's why there were 6. Judicate all wickedness upon them. It is the manifestation of sin at its height and evil. It is the persona of HaShabbat, the number 6 in the numerics of Yah. There were 6 men. There was one that was different. He was dressed in blood. He was dressed in the fine linen. He was not dressed in boots. He was not dressed in linens that had been bleached or dyed. There's nothing superficial about this one man. In order to know who this man is, you can't say it's YHWH. You must examine the Torah and identify who this one is. He said, this one man was with them. He was clothed this way. Why? And they went in and stood beside the brazen altar of Almighty. Yeah. To offer up the sin offering. He went and they stood beside the altar. And we're going to get back to this, but I want to deal with the one man. He was not dressed like the other ones. The one man. The linen that he had on, it was fine linen. It was called belts. It was not called boots. There was no imperfection. There was no adamant to that linen. It was pure. It was worked. It was worked with the on the kiln. It was worked with the thread and all that. It was fine. The wovenness of that was different than what were called boots. Yes. Our dress must be of a certain substance. Let's go to Revelation 19:8 quickly. Revelation 19:8. It says this. It is one attitude of one aspect of the fine linen of the bad. It represents this. This is what it represents. And we read this Revelation 19:8. Yes. And to her was granted the true house of YisraYah'ale. The bed, the woman, the mother. To her she should be arrayed in fine linen. Even the Greek, bousinos. There's no other type of impurities in it. That she should be dressed in fine linen, clean and white. Look what it says here. For the fine linen, For the bad, the fine linen is what? The righteousness.
Yes.
The righteousness of who? Of the YisraYah'ale.
Yes.
See, we read, but we don't read. We read something like that has no significance to us.
Yes.
None whatsoever. There was one that was dressed in the linen, the fine linen. He was dressed in bags. What did he represent? He represented the righteousness of YisraYah'ale. For the linen represents for the fine linen. The righteousness.
Yes.
It's the Sadiqa.
Yeah.
The spirit is the righteousness of the YisraYah'ale Kedushim. So you tell me, y'all, put words there just to be a filler? He knows that we are not a nation that filled with His love to want to know every aspect of Him. So we don't even read, we brush through.
Yes.
And we satisfy our pompous ways and say, I read 3 chapters last night. You didn't get a damnable thing out of reading 3 chapters.
Yeah.
And that's just a fact.
Yes.
You're flat out liar. It didn't produce anything. I would rather read 3 verses of one and examine that verse in every detail. That's how I do it.
Hallelujah.
You will see that I read 1 verse and I look up the words and I know I'm familiar with the words and I want to see what it means again. Then it becomes innate with me.
Yes.
The linen, that one, it talks about no one in YHWH but the one man where he was dressed. Why? I want to show you the one man in Torah.
Yeah.
And what the word bags, as far as the linen, I want to read these verses of you, write them down. I want you to study them and show us what this represents here. The mark of the beast, you got to understand now. In Exodus, Shemoth, Exodus 20:42, was Aharon the commander of the Levi? Sure he was. And it talks in 42 about the breeches of Aharon. It was made without any kind of dye or any kind of bleaching formula in it. That's the first place it announces the word now, or the word bad. It talks about this in Leviticus 6:10. Leviticus 6:10, the Kohen's garment. Because they represented the righteousness of God, did they not?
Yes.
And even though there was some imperfection with their garments, what the word was not boots, but the word bad, B-A-D. There were no impurities in their garments. They were not bleached garments. There were garments that were dyed because God commanded certain colors to be used. It gives us reference to that in Leviticus 16:4. Leviticus 16:4. It talks about the Kohan. It talks about his coat, the girdle, and the mitre. It uses the words bad, fine linen. Now this is the way the one man was dressed. This is the way that the one man was dressed. You're commanded. You draw from those that have been given charge over this principality. And there were 6 of them. They represented the wickedness of his people. Were violent, corrupt. Shemuel, chapter 1 Shemuel 2:18. It talks about Shemuel as he ministered to Yah. He was a child. He girded himself. He girded himself with the linen epods. Shemuel. Now that was one man. Aharon, Yeshua is the one, or they all come in the disposition of him. 1 Shemuel 22:18. This is when Shaul destroyed the 85 Kohen. And then that violent one by the name of Nobi began to wear the garments of the Kohen. The Kohen. He used the word bad. Doesn't use the words boots, but he used the word bad. Words are vitally important. As I read the article of that theologian, he was right on time. Harachma Simeon, he was right. His verbiage was absolutely right. Then in 2 Shemuel 6:14, this is when Dawid danced before Almighty Yah. He had girded himself in the linen ephod. That's what it was. I read these 6 verses. Represent the 6 men. I read you that these are the only places that the word bad in the process of linen is used in Torah. He saw 6 men. And every one of them represented the righteousness of Yah. He goes on to say here in Yeskel back there, Yeskel chapter 9 verse 2. He said the one man among them was clothed in the linen, and he had a writer's inkhorn by his side. And they went in, and they stood beside the brazen altar of Yah. I want to give us an identity. That's why I'm going through preschool now. You will not understand the depths of the mark if you don't understand the preschool. Listen to this quickly. We're looking at First Chronicles. First Chronicles. I want to show us the difference here. First Chronicles 15:27. It says, and Dawid was clothed with a robe of boots. It says fine linen, doesn't it? Yes. It was a linen that was bleached. You're not going to contaminate the purity and the brightness and the coming of Yahshua. Yeah. And all the Levites, they bear the ark, and the singer, Kenaniah, he was the one that led the procession of singers. He was in essence the leader of the singers. It says, the master of the song with the singers, David also had upon him the one that led. David was the king. But there were those that were ordained and positioned by the command, those that were the Levite command. And it shows us the distinct garment between the difference. Yes. And we had on boots, his robe. Kenaniah, he had him an ephod of linen. It was pure. It was white. It was clean. You understand? So everyone did not dress in that kind of a garment. But the one man was dressed that way. No other man was dressed that way. We're talking about the one man now. Just the one man. We must embrace that and understand that. Because there is more credence unto the powers of hell. People fear what they call, quote, the prophets of the Lord, talking about the Antichrist, unquote. I say, damn the Antichrist and those that defy Yeshua HaMashiach. The word Antichrist is not sufficient. It's not YisraYah'ale. Yeah. There is nothing more damnable and more destructive, turned out on that, than one thing. And that is Naw-khawsh. When a man knows and he defies. When one knows to do right or do tough, and they don't do it, that's an evil mind. That's a violent mind. You just turn it off for us. That's a violent, sadistic, evil mind. It is a corrupt mind. It is a mind that has exuded itself above the nature of Almighty Yah. And that's the way we are. Yeah. We are easily offended. We are immature. We don't have the strength. We don't have the strength of maturity. And that's just a fact. Yes. I don't care whether you buy it or not. And you that don't agree, you are the ones that are in a terrible position of that. Yes. You can be up and down. It's one thing my natural brother said, baby boy, don't flip. Don't flip-flop like a pancake, but stay the same.
Hallelujah.
Stay the same. Stay the same. The vision of this man. Now, there is no one that these, quote, prophets of the Lord, unquote, quote, more than YisraYah'ale, is it? He gives us a great scenario here. The vision. YisraYah'ale chapter 12, verse 5. Now, I'm going to teach from YesSha'BBAT 9 today, okay? I'm going to do that in order for you to understand this concept and the mark. You cannot draw from the delusion of this time and say that that's the mark. You must go back to the beginning. You must go back to Cain, the one that had that possession in him. He was possessed by Naw-khawsh. Naw-khawsh. He was possessed by that violent, evil, sadistic mind. You understand? I'm above men. I'm above Yah. I will ascend up into the kingdoms of the heaven. I will exalt me above the thrones of Yah. And that's what they're doing today.
Yes.
Naw-khawsh. Chava says, I'm not you. I'm as strong as you. I defy you. I denounce you, Yah. We don't think we say that. We speak more volume in our actions. And we see the residue of the mark that was from she. It was by them that sin has overtaken the world. And we don't want to see ourselves. That's why any wise counsel, I don't care if it's from anyone. It might be, look, grandbaby say, Papa, you fat. Well, that's wise counsel. They ain't lying. There's a man that harasses me. He may be listening today. And tell me, preacher, you stop eating so much that meat and slim down. Well, okay. I know I need to slim down, my friend. But he doesn't know anything about me.
True.
So I don't respond to someone like that. But he's right. Slim down, preacher. Get mad at him for what? We get upset about the least little thing. Listen to what he says here. YisraYah'ale. Daniel said in 12 verse 5. Daniel chapter 12 verse. Then I, Daniel Yah'ale, looked, and behold, there stood two. Two. That stood a witness. He said, one on one side of the bank of the river, and the other on the other side of the bank of the river. As he was in the days of Noah, as he was in the days of Moshe, when he brought them through the great river of Nile. And he gives us, the nation, two sides. He gives us one side of the river of Nile, and everything on the other side belongs to them. And he gave us the river on one side of the great Euphrates, is what he promised unto Abraham. That's what he promised. His witness is his Torah. Yes. On one side stood the Torah, and on the other side stood the one man. The one man. The mark. He said there were two on one side of the river. And he said, one said to me, messenger of Yah. The man. Yes. Does he say the man? Yes. The man, not men, a singular, the man, clothed in black. He was bad to the bone. He was clothed in the proper attire of Yah. Yes. The man. Yes. The one man, which was upon the waters of the river. He stood on the depths of the Yam. He stood on the depths of the current. Yes. No currents in our life. Joshua the man. Hallelujah. He is the man. Yes. He cannot resolve nation. Instead of us worried about the antichrist by the prophets of the Lord, unquote, I'm not worried about the mark of the beast. Yes. We must strive to enter into what? The kingdom truth of knowledge. Hallelujah. And that means we have to sell out everything. You're not getting in, holding on to your evil, wicked ways. Listen, which was upon the water, says, how long shall it be to the ends of these wonders? Wonders, the things that captivates. And those things, we see the great agony of the people during this time of great suppression, oppression. And he was speaking in terms of the kingdoms that had been in power, the Roman, the Grecians, and those 4 kingdoms, the Persians, how they had brutalized God's people.
Yes.
And we will see the residue of that in this hour. And you tell me the kingdoms are going to be rebuilt? No. It is that kingdom Naw-khawsh in the minds of the people.
Yes.
And the same thing that YisraYah'ale was subjugated to, they're subjugated to those same things on this day. And he said in verse 7, and I heard the man.
Yes.
I heard the man clothed in linen. That one,
Yes.
which was upon the waters of the river, when he held up his right hand. He held up his right hand, and they shall receive a mark in the right hand. It is not about some writings in your hands.
Hallelujah.
Right hand represents the authority, one's judication and one's power.
Yes.
They said nobody's going to tell me anything. I do what I want to. That's the way we are. And the first thing you began to do is throw up your hands. Well, no, man, no. It's a law. You begin to raise up. Well, hold up. No, come on, baby. You know. She throws up her right hand. I know I'm telling the truth.
Yes.
And that's the first thing we do. I throw up my hands. I throw up no hands.
Hallelujah.
But unto him.
Yes.
Thank you, Torah, for everything that he speaks to me. Look at where it's from. I don't reject what he says to me. I don't reject what you young men say.
Hallelujah.
I remember when they were cutting down the tree over here, Zakane, these young brothers, they're wise and they're skilled. And I said something to him, I'm talking about the last time. Then I realized I messed up when he began. I said, oh, ouch, it's okay. I leave that alone. And my feelings were not hurt because he can speak with wisdom.
Yes.
He knocked on the door and said, after that, sometimes, he said, come on out of the house. And Zakane said, come on out. I'm like, man, I'm doing it. I said, yes, sir, I'm coming. This is how silly we are. This is the immaturity of the mindset of our people today. Listen, he said, the man clothed in linen, which was upon the waters, when he held up his authority. That's what the right hand represents. The right hand, and his left hand to the heavens, and swore by him that lives, Liulam Fiat forever, that it shall be for a time and a time and a half,
Yes.
when he shall accomplish to scatter,
Yes.
and to restore, not only scatter, but he's going to restore the power of the Kodesh people.
Yes.
Until all these things be finished. They must be finished.
Hallelujah.
They must be finished.
Yes.
He's going to mark every last one of them.
Yes, sir.
And they are being marked today.
Yes.
Not some tattoo. And you young, silly young boys, it's not some chip.
Hallelujah.
You can't say that you quote the prophets of the Lord, unquote, and you're reading from the writings of, quote, Esau, the white dog of a devil. You call him that, unquote, and you trust his words. Okay, I do apologize for your ignorance. You all been, quote, the prophets of the Lord, unquote, I'm quite sure, quote, your Lord, unquote, spoke to you. Because I find so many, quote, prophets of the Lord, unquote, one on one corner, one on 5th Avenue, one on 10th Street, and they call each other one of the most degenerative names there is in the volume of language of our time. But they all prophets of the, quote, prophets of the Lord, unquote. Yes. They're foolish young men.
Yes.
They're foolish. There are things and verbiage I will use, but their verbiage is beyond reprehensible.
Yes.
You understand? It's just beyond that. I would never talk like that.
Hallelujah.
It's violent. It's violent. But, quote, they're the prophets of the Lord, unquote.
Yes.
He said, Yahshua is going to finish, Yah has scattered, and all things are going to be finished. Because there is a mark. And it's the people are all, you think Yah has to wait for some kind of technology to let the enemy cause. He didn't make them, he caused them. He caused them. You put in a position you don't know what to do. Can I say this? They don't even know what the people will not be able to buy or sell. They think it's going to the grocery store and buying food. That's not what the Torah is talking about. Yeah. It's not. I will prove it out. Yes. It's not talking about buying no fat back or chitlins. It's not talking about buying lamb's meat. It's not, nation. I will prove all things in Torah, all right? Yeah. Is that all right? Let's get back to Ezekiel. Chapter 9, verse 3. It says, now put your little marker there so you can, I will tell you what to turn to because I'm trying to identify each verse in Ezekiel. It says, and the Spirit of Yah, of YisraYah'ale, has gone from the Kerub, whereupon he was, and the threshold of the house of the bed of Yah. This is what he did. Call the man. Clothed. What is it that you must identify his clothing? Clothed in linen. Clothed in band. Which had the writer's ink on by his side. He was leading an army, that one man. You understand? This is not, this has no credence unless I can identify this in Torah. In the Brit Hadassa. Hold that. We're going back to Ezekiel. Let's turn quickly to Revelation. Let us go to Revelation chapter 19, verse 14. It talks about the man clothed in linen. Doesn't it say that?
Yes.
Revelation chapter 19, 14 says this. And the armies which were in the Shemaim, in the heavens, followed him.
Yes.
Followed him upon the Lebat. Zeus, that rode upon the white horse. Yes. Why is it that it is so important to identify his garment? Clothed in fine linen, white and clean. Yes. So you tell me the man that Ezekiel saw in this profound vision is different than this man here, that he go forth to destroy, that he commanded the army that we're going to eradicate this damnable, corrupt mindset of Naw-khawsh. The old proverb, you can give a man a fish, but if you take him and teach him how to fish, you change his whole perspective. Because he must endeavor, he must learn, he must understand the technique, and he grows and he grows. If you give him the fish, he will be lazy and wait on it every day. So if you show the man, you teach him. And so this man, he was called the same way with Ezekiel in the time of the mark being placed upon those that were evil and wicked. This was not done in some kind of physical application. It was done through the Ruach of Yah. They didn't go around with the acorn and inscribe something on them. They didn't even see them. They would go and they would mark. But there was one man that was in command. He is the same man that follows and rides on this great Lebad, shoots this horse out of the heavens. Yes. No, he's not riding on no spaceship. Hallelujah. And there's nothing more powerful than the Zeus. It identifies with power and might, authority. It identifies with the forceness. That's what it does. A spaceship. How would you know what a spaceship look like? Don't you know how silly you is? Don't you know how immature you is? You buy the lies of Alex Jones and these fools. We're going to be caught up in spaceship. You tell me the one that made the kingdom and the heavens. That's some stupid thing that man says is a spaceship. He needs that. You are beyond stupidity. What do you need a spaceship? Is it a spaceship that cut up Yeshua or Elijah? There's a fire just come on up here, boy. That's so stupid. Don't you see how insane that is?
Yes.
You think you'll have a bunch of spaceships when he comes, we cut up to meet him, we're going to have to go to board, we don't have to land, we're going, that is so stupid. It is insane. This is the message those that call themselves, quote, Hebrew Israelites, unquote, have learned from the Alex Joneses of the world. Fools.
True.
They're fools. We're going to get on a spaceship. That is so asinine of stupidity and ignorance.
Yeah.
Why would y'all that set the heavens of stars need a spaceship?
Yeah.
Tell me, this is our stupidity. We should not even be in Head Start. And there are fools that buy that.
True.
There are stupid individuals that talk, and they're as dumb as they don't talk to me that way. Because I want to bust their heads.
Hallelujah.
How would you know what ship to get on? How would you know it's a spaceship?
Yes.
How do you identify a spaceship? These are fools.
Hallelujah.
Just you ain't driving no spaceship. You coming on the power and the might of your. There ain't nothing like a stallion. I don't care what a spaceship look like. I don't know what one look like. Because I've never seen one. And I ain't have you. Fool.
Hallelujah.
But I know there is nothing more dynamic than a stallion.
Hallelujah.
When they run, the muscularity, you see the muscles, they're bad too. They ain't dumb like that. And they know someone will walk you down. You're taking a stride, but I got a stride in the third. I can gain a little bit in 20 yards.
Yes.
That is so crazy. The Hebrew Israelites that identified with that 2000, they were on their roofs in New York and all over, waiting for the spaceships. They don't talk about that. Now we're 2019. That's the depths. I'm going to teach like this all next year. Because that's the end. We're going to be repatriated.
Hallelujah.
How are we going to do it in spaceships, I guess? Don't you all see how stupid that sounds?
Yes.
Don't you see how ignorant? Anyone say that to you, tell them you are ignorant beyond ignorance. You are stupid. You are dumb.
Yes.
You are immature. Get out of my face, boy. I will.
Yes.
You're not going to slide that folly in with me.
Hallelujah.
What do you need a spaceship for? He said we're going to be caught up.
Yes. Right.
YHWH.
We're going to be caught up to meet him in how?
True.
Can I use this word? How in all hell get back? You're going to be in a spaceship. In the moment of a twinkling of an eye, you're going to be chained. What do you need a spaceship for?
Hallelujah.
Don't you see the stupidity of that? Only a fool would reverberate that puke
Right.
that they have heard from others.
Yes.
I don't talk like these men.
No.
I don't talk like any of them. That doesn't make me great. You understand? But I don't talk that foolishness. They don't spend no time laboring in Torah. Spaceship? Spaceship? Who's driving the spaceship? Who's driving? So the only thing you caught up in a spaceship, if we're going to be caught up, spaceship got to land, wouldn't you think? We got to get aboard like we get on an airplane. How many spaceships will that be? He promised Abraham a seed that is beyond numerics. You can't compare, you can compare that to the sands of the sea. He promised him 1,000 of the equivalent of 4 million. That's 4 billion people. That's 4 billion. It's insane nation that these dumb, wild asses are out trying to teach somebody. That's what they are. I'm going to break it down, don't worry.
Hallelujah.
I got it.
Yes.
There are no spaceships. And you're a fool to say you've seen one. You are stupid as they come.
Hallelujah.
You'll be surprised how many people believe in stupidity like that. Never seen a spaceship. Don't even know what one looked like. When I taught that teaching was spaceship, there were people that got upset. How would they know what a spaceship is? Please tell me. Please, fool, tell me. Well, it's wrong like a disc. Who told you that? That is some comical mess, fictitious lie you learned from the television. Oh, I know you don't want to hear this. Lift your heads up anyway. I want you to look at me. You don't lift your heads up.
Hallelujah.
Wake him up back then. Hallelujah. I know we don't want to hear that. There are no spaceships. By the command of his voice, he caused the heavens to come with him. By the power of his voice, the stars, he...
Hallelujah.
If there's one thing I would love for our babies to see, what I would love to them to go to a place where they can just see the heavens and the stars. You can't see them here. When we first came here, you could see them. And they would be by the hundreds. We could see hundreds of stars. I've been in places where there are millions. Just little pinpoints everywhere. We get a bus, we'll leave that alone. We're going to take you, not going to take you somewhere. I want you to see God's beautiful creation. There's nothing like it. Nothing like it at all. All right, let me move. He says here that the man was clothed with bad and we see this one that rides in Revelation 19:14. Let's go back. Is this one in Revelation 19:14 dressed like the one here in YHWH 9:3?
Yes.
They dress alike, are they not?
Yes.
Are they the same man?
Yes.
Yes, both of them is Icad one. Let's go back to YHWH 9:14. 9 and 4. It says, and Yah said to him, this is the one that was clothed with a fine linen. Yah speaks to this one. And Yah says to him, I want you to go to the midst of the city. Through the midst of where YisraYah'ale. That's what he says here. I want you to tava. I want you to set a dove. Now hold right there for a minute. The word tav, T-A-W-V, it means a sign. It should be an insignia. It should be something that is recognizable, not a lettering. There is only one other place in Torah where the word T-A-V is used. There is only one other place, no other place. I will show you. Show you what it means. Tav is a desire. Yah has desire in his heart for us to walk righteously. And because we have no stewardship of what Yah's put us stewards over, we just allow weeds to grow in our minds. We listen to everything that we think we can put on somebody that we figure that is dumber than I am. And you think you can run that over and get by. And many men would just say, oh boy, no, I tell you, you're silly. Show me that in the book. Let's go sit down and show me. And these fools come out, they're wild asses. Only one other place the word tav is used in Torah. How do you know? Because I have Greek concordance. I have Hebrew concordance. I examine words to their core, to their depth. You can tell I just didn't spend an hour on this. And I haven't gotten into the depth of it. I want to lay the foundation first. And then on next Shabbat, you begin to understand when I get in Revelation. You understand what this mark consists of, what it means. You understand the dynamics and how it is implemented. You can't do this in one teaching. I can't do it in 3 teachings. I can't do it in 50. This is beyond expression of the elements of words. He says, here in YHWH, he told him to tava, and I want you to set a mark, to set a mark, to set a mark, to set a mark. Why? Upon their mesak, in their mind. The mesak is between your eyes and your eyebrows. It is the mind. What's between that? Your brain. I want you to set a mark upon their brain. People will say he's brain dead, yet he's functioning and walking around. Boy, he's dead as they come. It is the idiom, it is the verbology of what people use. He said, I want you to set a mark upon their foreheads of the men who that sigh, and cry for all, this is important, the abominations to Abba that be done in the midst thereof. He said, I want you to identify every man. And I want you to clothe them with linen. Because that is their righteousness. That's what he is saying. I want you to talk. I want you to say. And I'll get to that a little later on, okay? Before I finish today. Stop. I want you to go and set a mark upon them Those, first of all, they got to cry and sigh. These men are not crying and sighing against wickedness. These ones that call themselves, quote, Hebrew Israelites, unquote, they're doing the same dirty thing. They're worse than what they call Christians. They're more evil than the ones they call Christians. They get as drunk. They smoke as much dope. They land with every kind of foozy bill they can. They're dealing with the simple-minded women that are silly women. They go into their homes and they lead them astray with the false, fictitious lie of a doctrine. And they lay with them and they lie and they speak all kinds of lies. You understand?
Yes.
Quote, we don't need God. We don't need man to marry us. We got God. Unquote. And they are that silly and that stupid, they buy the stupid lies. Yes. They do the same, forgive me, y'all. There are those that call themselves Christians, will never do what those that identify as a Hebrew Israelite, unquote, they will never do that. They will never do some of the things they do. They justify dope smoking, laying down with other women. And they think because they say, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, that means something to Yah. You got to have actions.
Yes.
Your words don't mean nothing. And we have a volume of words. Yes. I've never seen men so ignorant in this time. It is pathetic. They would debate on matters they don't even have understanding of it. And that's the fact.
Hallelujah.
Can I go a little further?
Yeah.
It says that he will cause them to receive a mark on their forehead. He said, I want you to mark them that cry and sigh against all the Torah which is done in the midst of the city. Yeah. So you tell me that the cup of this Jezebelite, it has always been full. It's always been full of detestable, abominable things. Yes. It was full then with YHWH. And they show you how full it is today. Hold that in your scale and let's go to Revelation. Talks about this woman in her and what's in her cup. Yeah. She looks real and looks right. Revelation chapter 17 verse 4. It tells us that the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet colors. That is so important there. I will deal with that in a moment too, all right? She was dressed in purple and scarlet. Those were the colors of Yah. He gave us the blue, the purple, and the scarlet colors. This was the dressing of the house of Yah and his people. So she dressed as though that she got it right. Her, quote, prophets of the Lord, dressed that way too, unquote, as though they got it right. And this woman, the woman was dressed in purple scarlet color, and she was decked with gold. All of this is vital. And precious stones and pearls. But she had a cup in her hand. And her cup was a golden cup. The golden cups were used in the service of Yah's house. You think this religious whore doesn't emulate the same thing? Yeah. That's what Naw-khawsh does. And she had a golden cup in her hand. It was full. It was not partial. It was full of abomination and filthiness of fornication. What fornication? Just by taking enterprise with a woman now. It's beyond that. It's this idolatrous mindset. And it was established with Naw-khawsh. When Hava says, when the devil says, Rashatan says, Yah knows in the day you defy him, yes, you become, quote, a god, unquote. Like me. He didn't say like me, because he is, quote, the God of this world, unquote. If this what I'm teaching today, you don't have wisdom to understand, it's because that God, yes, that God, yes, has blinded your mind and your eyes, yes, that you cannot see or comprehend. Yes. Least the power of this simple truth shine through, and you can be released from the shackles of the bondage of your mind. You understand? Yes. It is that God. It is that God. It is not our Yah. He doesn't, there is no superlative to explain the dimension of Yah. Just his name. Just his name tells you who he is. And if you don't understand his name, then you must learn of his name.
Hallelujah.
And that's just a fact.
Yes.
And that's all in a cup. It's full of abominations, filth, and full of fornication, idolatrous lies, and idolatrous falsehoods. That's what it is. There's not one today doesn't think that I am superior in my way and I'm more special than anyone else. You're going to die and smell the heat of the graves of hell, and the buzzard shall eat your flesh. We're stupid.
Yes.
We're crazy.
Yes.
We don't want nobody to be honest with us.
Hallelujah.
And that's just a pure fact.
Yes. Hallelujah.
And a cup full of abominations. Well, that's what YisraYah'ale says. I want you to go and mark those that cry and sigh for the Torah. They say, yeah, the people are filthy. Woe am I. I'm an unclean man of unclean lips. You don't say that. We don't identify. That's why any wise counsel will make you think. If someone says something to you, even though they're wrong, it should make you think and examine your inner parts.
Yes.
First thing we do is show forth our expression. I don't care who you are.
Yes.
We can't be like that.
Hallelujah.
We can't be like that as ancient men and ancient women.
Hallelujah.
We can't be like that.
Yes.
It's sad that we're that way, but we are.
Hallelujah.
It's just a fact.
Hallelujah.
That's right. I'm going to preach the film. I got it. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
This is what our cup is full of. It's full of every kind of, quote, God worship, unquote. Can I ask us a question thing? I don't want you to answer it. How can the Hebrew Israelites in Baltimore and the ones in New York, the Hebrew Israelites in Phoenix, Arizona, LA, why is there such a great diversity of difference? Are the Christians that way? You got Baptists, you got Methodists, you got Pentecostals. They got GMS camp, they got Israel United Christ camp. They got the big hog belly, YHWH, all of them. And they're all different. And unless someone comes through YHWH in Baltimore, you're lost. I tell you what, it's not that I would take a chance. I will not let a hog-bellied man like that lead me. That's me.
Hallelujah.
Well, you just said you're overweight, but I'm not a hog-belly.
Hallelujah.
I'm not a hog-belly.
Hallelujah.
I'm not a hog-belly. I'm saying this because I want his boys to attack me. Maybe one will listen. They would tell others he talked about the general. That's all right.
Hallelujah.
It's a shame. It's a shame. It's twisted. It's corrupt. It's corrupt.
Yeah.
Those men that started Hebrew Israelitism, they were not born in the 60s. They couldn't have did it in being born in 1950. One West there in New York. What's there one West now? They got swanky shops there now. And it was such a powerful entity.
Yes.
Why did they break up like that? Yeshua got out of the grave. He brought the Talmudim together and rebuked them all.
Yeah.
He did. And that was a cohesive union among them. And they went and they gave up their lives.
True.
Why is it that if that is so profound, that started in One West, and those men that were the orchestrators, they had to be born in the 30s, late 30s, 40s. The early 40s, you figure 40 to 50, you're 20 years old. 50 to 61, you're only 30 years old. So this is the stupidity. And so this latter branch and those, talking about the chip, many of them born in the 80s, 90s, few born in the 70s. The ones that are the leader corps then, but they were not born back then. And so they take upon this delusional lie that it's the chip.
Right.
It is the chip. It is the chip. It is the RFID chip. It's stupid.
Yes.
And those that quote the promise of the Lord on every corner, unquote, they weren't even born in 1961. Maybe they were not born in 1972. My natural sister called me yesterday because my cousin had informed me that two of my cousins in Big North Carolina, Ricky and Scott. Scott was my age. Ricky was 61. They went one of the homes. The house caught on fire. And it burned them to death. Both of them were killed in the fire. Both of them died. Young men. And I said, when I talked with them, I said, I don't know what to say. They have not performed an autopsy, and they're saying that you know, it just, you can't overpower that smoke inhalation. It's not the fire that kills you, it's the smoke. And it takes you out quick. It suppresses the oxygen, and you just go down. You can't inhale that, no. The most of the whole out full of it, and the smoke inhalation, you don't know where you're going. And you fall out. And that kills you. And it burns you up. Burned me beyond recognition when he said. And I said, oh my. When they were trying to get the generator going, I was talking to them. I'm like, wow. I said, I don't know how to respond. I don't know what to say. And so he said they're having a memorial service next Saturday, I believe, was Friday. He said, but I want to ride down and see you. I said, okay. Just let me know you're coming. Because they know I'm not going. And Ricky was going through chemotherapy because he had, I think, brain cancer, something like that. And the other one was in the bedroom with him when the fire, undoubtedly was trying to get him out. And they both died, two brothers. Although one was adopted, they were still brothers. You understand? And I hadn't seen Scott in so long. I hadn't seen him in many, Ricky either. And it just overwhelmed me. I'm like, wow, we all the same age. Ouch, 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 ouch. Death comes. And I thought, y'all just let me lay down and die. I don't want to be sick long. You let me down when it's my time. You understand? Yes. I don't have no fear of dying because I know I'm going to die. I don't even think about death. You understand? You all understand what I'm saying? Yes. I don't think about dying. Yes. I don't think about dying because I know I'm going to die. So when that day comes, it's going to come, all right? Yes. So I don't allow that to be the toxicity of my mind, nation. That's all I'm saying. Yes. Don't worry about death. We all go that way. So don't even let that trouble you. Hallelujah. Just let's live out the day that y'all grants us, all right? That's all I'm going to do. Yeah. I'm going to live out each day that y'all grants to me. Yeah. Hallelujah. And I want to walk close about it. Yeah. And I don't want to walk in lies and corruption. I don't want nobody to deceive me with lies. Yeah. And the species of the chip is a lie. And the species of the Hebrew doctrine is a lie. Yes. You know, I heard one recently say that, you know, those Chinese don't even realize they're Hebrew Israelites. I'm like, what? He scattered his people all over the world. And this is one of the most foremost camps up there in New York. I said, who's rather than a Chinese? You talking about a white man, Red? Man, when you meet those brothers, you know, man, you don't want somebody talking the same thing you're talking. That wasn't that 15, 20 years ago. They weren't talking like that. It's a thesis. Yes. They got to this year coming. It's going to be proven a bogus lie. Freedom. He didn't make them stay in bondage 418 years. He brought them out, liars. 1619. But I got something for you, all right? Don't worry about it. I want to finish this today. Hallelujah. Go back to YHWH 9 and 5. And this is what this one man said. And to the others he said in my hearing, go you after him, follow him. Let's follow Yahshua. You understand? Hallelujah. Go after him to the city. He said, and I want you to smite. This is the love of Yahshua. We can't do y'all wrong. I don't care if it's your sons, your daughters. He says, let not your eyes spare, neither have pity. You tell me this is Yahushua talking. Let not your eyes spare, don't have pity. He said, I want you to kill, slay, utterly. He begins with the old, the men of ancient. I will show us why. He said, I want you to kill. Now these have been marked. You think that they were going to let someone with the rightest inkhorn walk up to them and say, do you cry inside for righteousness? For the abomination? No, let me put a mark on your head. That is so stupid. That's not what he's saying. This is done in a way that is beyond supernatural. It is a spiritual marking. Naw-khawsh is a spirit.
Yes.
He said, I want you to listen. I want you to kill utterly old and young. I want you to kill the virgins, the Beth-Ula. I want you to kill the little children, the town. Now you know that's something now. The wicked go astray as soon as they're born. You see the manifestation later on in life. But as soon as they're born, they began to go astray. Yes. He said, I want you to kill the women. And then this is what he said. But come not near any man upon whom the tav. It is a mark of exemption. The tav. One is exempt from judgment. He says that have the mark. And he said, I want you to begin where? At my mikdash place. Yes. Then they began, look at this now, at the ancient of men, which were before his house. I said to you the word tav, T-A-W, is only used here and one other place. So how do you find that out? By searching the dynamics of the word, by researching and reading a volume of scripture. Sometimes I'll just read. I may read 200 or 300 scriptures. I can do that. And I read them. And I go to the next one, I read that. And then there was one that's it right there. The scripture speaks to me. Yeah. That's how I do it. I have sat down and looked at 400 or 500 scriptures at one time and read them. And I'm not saying something to be bogus, phony. Yes. I read them. And only that one, all of them I read, that one sticks out. That's the one. He said, I want you to begin where? With ancient men in my bed. Yes. I want you to begin with the older men, the men that are supposed to be wise, and they're not wise. The men of ancient, but it's one thing that the Torah tells us. I was talking with the Arkim yesterday. We are such a frivolous people in our emotion. Yes. I was talking to my friend as we went to Home Depot. I said, son, the Torah says correct the wise man. I said, what does that tell me? I don't let him talk. I apologize when we get home, and I said, I appreciate you just listening to me. He said, Rick, I enjoy listening. I said, I know I'm loquacious, I run my mouth all the time, but I appreciate you just being patient with me. I said, that lets me know that I don't care how wise you are, you need correction. Correct the wise man. Correct the wise man. I don't care how wise you think you is. I don't care who you think you is. I don't care how knowledgeable you think you is. You correct the wise man. He can't do nothing but love you. And a wise man, what you say to a wise man or wise daughter, it will examine them. You know, a wise man doesn't examine you by what you say to him. He examines himself. Why did he speak or she say this to me? It's got to be something that is revealing in my action, my attitude, my spirit. Tell me, your mother, he come in the house, your daddy, boy, what's wrong with you? He's never said that to you. No, sir. I'm not buying it. You can't tell me he said that. You can't tell me she said, son, what's wrong? Something ain't right. I'm all right, mama. I got to get out of here. Don't tell me she didn't know. I don't care how you smell it. You know there's something wrong. That's how crazy we is. That's how dumb we is. Gotta be strong, man. So that let me know that a wise man, I don't care how wise you think you is, you need correcting. And I say this all the time. It's his love for me that corrects me. I just, let me be quiet. I was saying to his son, I want to finish this, Miko. I was saying to his son the other day because I knew it was going to rain, and I knew that, because I knew it was going to rain, and I saw Zacchaeus' bin, and I went to check the stove and all that. I clean up around that. Listen to me, people. I love for things to be clean, immaculate at all times. You do something, you always make it clean and nice. I don't care what it is. That's why I'm cleaning this place now. And so I saw his bins. I say, my brother, he comes in late. He has these, I can't have less time with their wives. I would be foolish. I said to his son, if I live next to your father, I would do the same thing. If I live next to him, I said, I don't care where I live. If I live next to him, I would do it. I let those bins down because I see his wife. I'm looking at her in the camera, pushing that wheel back, and she gets it. She get that board up there. And so I let the barrier down. I saw her out there, and I saw she out there. Both of them. And he was over there calling himself helping her to get wood. I said, I don't need you. I don't need you to help me get wood. I said, go home and help them. He said, I'm helping Nani. I said, you're not helping Nani? I'm helping Grandma. I said, no, I got Grandma. You go over to help them. I'm looking at her putting wood in the thing, but it was much easier that way. That's why I said, put the wood on the porch for that elderly mother back there. So I turned the bins over. I had him, your son helped me turn them over, put them on block, cover them tightly, and the only thing you guys do is go in there. That would have been cool to me, thinking how he works out there, how he works. If I live next door, he might do the same. If I live next door, any of y'all, I would do that. It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much. And I said to his son, I said, I know your daddy, you got it under control. He said, yeah, I bring all the wood. I said, I know you do. I said, well, he doesn't like to bring wood in the house. He said, no, sir. I said, so I can build it that way. He doesn't like to bring wood. He said, leave it on the porch. You understand? Now bring it in the house. Ain't no bug gonna do nothing to me. I'm not afraid of a bug. And if he gets by, I get him. She see me stepping on the big old power meter bulbs with my, I don't care if I don't have one of those socks, I step on him. What do you do? She see me picking on, it's the bug. People of the world eat them. I asked him, I said, what? What is he going to do? Now bring me my wood in the house. And I said I would do the same thing with you for your daddy. He said, nah, daddy, you got to. I said, I know, but that's all right with me. I got it stacked in there so you can build a house out there with all the wood I got in there. I'm saying that because we have to have that kind of. You don't have to tell me nothing to do. Nobody told me how to do this here. Nobody. I'm not bragging. Nobody told me how to build this building. I went to Habitats there in Charlotte. And the old big fellow worked there. All these windows I bought, I don't know how many windows we purchased. And I knew you could get a deal back then. I said, boss man, what'd you send me those windows for? He said, how many do you want? I said, I want all of them. We put them in dining hall everywhere. I said, I want all of them. And these windows have been taken out of a house that was built. And when the people saw they were brown, they said, we asked for bronze ones, that to take all of them out. They can use them again. The builders back then. That's how much you want, boss man, Captain. Because I always treat them nice, you know. I'm going to, Captain, how you doing? How's everything, boss man? You all right, man? And I talk to people. He said, I'm all right. He would always smile. Big old fella. He was as big as I can. He was bigger than him, but he was about his size. But I like the fella. He said, what you give me for them? I said, what you take? He said, you tell me what you give. I said, no, you tell me what you take. And we talk about what I give. He said, I'll tell you what, just offer me a price and see if I'll take it. I said, I'll give you $300. He said, take them all. I should have said $250 too. They were worth all of that. You understand what I'm saying? Yes. He gives us favor with men. So nobody told me, I said, I'll take advantage of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Ah, didn't realize that. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tribes. Each tribe a window. Is that all right?
Yes.
I knew we would say blocks.
Yes.
Those blocks weren't for 50 cents a block back then. And I got a military discount. I knew we would say blocks. It is easy to just lay blocks because you got the... It's hard to build those pillars. Gotta form it upright. And that's how. So nobody told me how to build these YisraYah'ale. I found these back then on the World Wide Web. It's called a modified queen. Because Simon the sorcerer wanted to put a metal, so I'm not putting metal beams in there.
Yes.
But I knew one thing. I didn't care what I asked him, could he do it? He said, we can do it. Hey, it is the truth. I was like, I don't know. No, I knew he would agree with me. All I need somebody to agree with me.
Yes.
I didn't care whether we could do it or not. All I want somebody to agree with me because I know we can do it. Because you know I knew we could do it? Because it was already done. It was not monumental. So you didn't have to be a pioneer for anything. It was already done. Just make them longer. Put an extra. When the architect saw these, he said, man, look at this. He said, who did this? You never seen something like these. And old Simeon said, yeah, we can get it done.
Yes.
Oh, that made me happy. I knew we could.
Yes.
Hallelujah. We can do all things through Yahshua HaMashiach. All right.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I want to get there with this quickly. Here it is, I said to us that the word tav, the mark, right here as I just read in Yeskel, slay utterly all, become not near any man upon whom the mark tav. I will show you the implications of that one word. It's more than a mark. The implication means one thing. Can I tell you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It means desire. How do I know? Let's go to Eyob quickly. This place and this in Eyob, Job, chapter 31, 33. This is Job in the midst of all of his agony. Eyob 31, 33. He says, if I cover my transgression, my sins and my corruption, like Adam, by hiding my iniquity in my bosom.
Yeah.
Now, how can you hide iniquity in your bosom? Nobody knows you got it there in your mind. We hide things in our mind, right?
Yeah.
So he said, who am I hiding from? He said, in my bosom. He said, did I fear a great multitude, or did the contempt of my family terrify me? They had contempt for Yah. They didn't care about Yah. Was I terrified? Did it make me curse Yah and die, as my wife said? That's what this man said. That I kept silent. I didn't even go outside of my house, and I went not out of the door. And then he says this. We must be examined as a Torah. We must be taught. He says in verse 35, oh, that one would hear me. You, my friends, oh, that one, and I know, oh, that one would hear me. He says, behold, my mark, my God, my desire. That's what that word implies. My desire is that Yah, the most powerful, would answer me, and that my adversaries have written a book. 40,000 books on the mark of the beast. These are the adversaries of Yah.
Yes.
I want Yah to hear me.
Yeah.
He said that my tav, T-A-W-V. This is the application and the only other place that the word is used. Right here. How do you know? Well, because your Greek lexicon will show you, your Hebrew lexicon will show you every place that word is utilized and how it is positioned that you will understand all the intricacies of it.
Yes. Yes.
Words have meaning, but they may have ingredients of the meaning that you can look. I will look up the word's meaning just in the secular sense, in the English. Then I will see all the words that apply to that word. And then I will search the Torah for every word. I'm not talking about the and, the thea. But there are words that have dynamics to their meanings. And so I search out the meanings in Torah. What does the Torah say about this word or say about this word? That's what I do. It's painstaking, but I love it. It takes time. I have time. I have time. Because I will make the time. I will get my job done and go get the business done. I said to him when he was cutting hair the other day, I said, I was studying at that time. I said, well, let's do it in a half an hour. I said, Shepard, you ready? He said, yes. So I picked him up. We're on the other side. And that was the work that needed to be done. We got over there in 30 minutes. And we got it done. Made it neat. Positioned it. Can I tell you all something? I came right here. All of us that work. You that are listening. When you work, this is one thing you must always do. First of all, you must have order. And everyone, look, see, they follow each other. They follow each other. And everyone has to follow you. It's easy to get anything done. If one going over here doing that one movement, they have to follow you. They have to follow your initiative. They have to follow the way you do things. He and I went over there. I said, Shimmy, I'm not trying to handle these tires by myself. Come on. I know you're strong as a bull. But I ain't the bull I used to be. You get one side, let's go. And that's how we did it. Yes. He's trying to show up like let me help you with that thing. Yeah, my friend in the back, he wants to show me how strong he is. I said, man, let me help you with that. Yes. I'm not going to even let you do that. We work too independently. Yes. And a leader always take command. I'm a leader. Yes. I take charge. I don't have to be leading something to be the leader, but I take command. I can examine something in 3 minutes. Less than that. Yes. I can examine it in 30 seconds. The power of this, I knew it was just not the generator. And I know sometimes you get a little frustrated with me. I don't care. Don't tell me the steps are falling right. It's got to be something you did wrong with the power zone. And I knew that. Because it cannot interfere with that power. And once they turned it, he called and said, tell them the power. I know it wasn't. The generator doesn't have 3,000 hours on it. It's still brand new. Yes. Don't tell me that. Period. Yes. So I come out and start fussing. Let's go back to I don't care. You never go back to the process of things over and over. I do. Yeah. I go in the same process over and over. I go back and check. Maybe I did. And then I find myself, wow, I did that. That it is right here. We are people that we just, okay, I did it right. No, you didn't do it right. Yes. And I'm thinking something, right? Because I hear it in my house where the power was to come on. I said, something ain't right here. I was on the telephone. That's why I wasn't out there in the initial stages. Look, I want to finish. He said that my desire is that Yah, the Most High, would answer me. Isn't that our desire? He's going to answer us. We're going to get thorough understanding of what the mark of the beast is. He said to YisraYah'ale said, I want you to begin at the ancient. Yes. With old men. That's why you old men, you think because you're old that that gives you a specific place in. You're a fool. You're old women because you're old, you're a fool. Look at what Ejob says here about the men of ancient. He called them Yoshish. That's what an ancient man is, Yoshish. Ejob 12:12. With the ancient, the Yoshi, and that is an old man, an aged man, a man that has age, one that is gray. With the Yoshish, the first thing you're going to find is wisdom. And then when you find wisdom in that man, Ejob 12:12, you're going to find wisdom in that man, and you're going to find length of days understanding. Yes. And every day he has wisdom to discern that. That's what you're going to find with the Yoshish. He has wisdom. He has the practicalities of the mandate of God's word. He knows how to utilize every aspect. You take advantage of everything. I do. He was talking to me yesterday and he says, my son, I want to hear you take care of that. Why did I tell him that? Why did I say that? He knows why. Because I know I trust his ability, his faithfulness, his sincerity. Yes. He said, well, Ray, can I ask you one question? And I said, tell you someone. I said, yeah. And then he asked me a question. Then I went into my dialogue. And I was talking just like this. He said, all right then, that's okay. Oh, turn around, let's go back to that Audi. See if I can find that Nashville hot sauce. I love it. hot sauce called Nashville hot sauce is excellent. He says this in Mishli, Proverbs 22:28. This is what Yah commands us. Remove not the ancient landmark. Yes. The word SCT, which your fathers have set.
Hallelujah.
Which your fathers have set. S-E-T. Set. Which your father, did I not start off with that? The word set, S-E-T. Yeah. What it means, what it implies. That Yah set the mark upon Cain. Yeah. Did I not start? Because we're going to understand next week. All right, give us some preliminary learnings, okay? Yeah. Get the trash out of your mind. Yeah. Stop listening to the prophets of the Lord.
Yes.
Listen to a simple messenger. You're going to get great understanding next week in a greater degree. Every verse is going to be broke down. And I will show you the parallel of that in Torah. I will. And it goes on to say in YisraYah'ale 9:7. And he said to them, I want you to defile the bed because the house is filthy. Put the dead carcasses there and fill the court with the slain. Go you forth. And they went forth and they killed in the city. They were not taking the inkhorn. What that inkhorn represents, that the mark of darkness on them. It was a city, that judgment that was upon them. And then because he fell in his emotions. Yes, sir. That's what we do. We fall into our emotions, all right? This is what he says to Yah in verse 8. And it came to pass while they were killing them. I was left. You were left. It was a natural thing in the sense that if they went in a natural form to mark them, he could have walked along to see it. That wasn't what it was. This is spiritual. Yeah. He says, and I was left, and I fell upon my face and I cried and said, sovereign Yah, you destroy all the residue of YisraYah'ale in the pouring out of your fury upon YHWH. There's only one other man that asked Yah that. There's one other man that asked Yah, will you destroy? It's the whole house. His name is Abraham. And I want to show you what that means. Will you destroy everyone? There's a residue. There's a small remnant. There's a bochia. Just a little residue. It's not what you think it is. And we all know we're going to make it in, don't we? But we don't examine ourselves. Yes. Yeah. We don't take heed to ourselves. Yeah, I don't have to take heed to him. Yes. Yeah. I don't have to take heed to you. Take heed to yourself. I take heed to myself. Yes. And then if I take heed to myself, he'll take heed to me, and then that will inspire him and bless him. Yes. You understand? There's only one other man. I want to turn to that quickly, and I want to read this. I want to begin here in Bereshit. Yah said, the cities of the death rolls. I'm going to kill them all. Yah said, those that cry and sigh against this cup full of abomination, you mark them. You know who they are. You can tell. You can see them. You can see their mannerism. It was not something that they let someone put a mark on. They knew it was for bad. Yes. They weren't going to allow someone to brand them. That was the way of the kings. This is what it says in Bereshit 18:28. As the dialogue with Yah and Abraham, because Sodom and Gomorrah. He says in verse 28. Peradventure, yes, there shall light 5 of the 50 righteous. Will you destroy the city for the lack of 5? And Yah said, if I find there 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. It goes all the way down to one number. It goes down to the number 10. And there's a reason for the number 10, because the number 10 is Eruth. That their testimony against them, they are wicked, they are corrupt, they are violent, they are ill in their ways when it comes to Yah. Then he says to Yah, this is how he says it in verse 32 of chapter 18. He says to Yah, now I know I'm stepping out of bounds, but let not the sovereign Yah be Rah. Don't be angry with me, Yah. You telling Yah not to be angry with you. You, Abraham, he said, don't be angry with me. But I will speak yet once, this once. Yah drove him to that number. He said, peradventure, 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. Why? Because y'all knew there were not 10 there. 10 is the number of testimony, Edud. Their testimony was one of evil and sin and wickedness. Did he destroy it? Sure he did. Because there were not 10 there. There was no testimony of righteousness. Everything has great value in the concept of what Yah. And we can see what they marked. It was the command of Yah. And Hashatan said, I began this thing because I know that there's a time of days and they shall end. You challenge me with that, you made out look at my beauty and my splendor. Set them there, and I'll turn them all against you. Yah said, I planned it this way. To show you that sin will not overcome Sadiq.
Yeah.
The years of pain will not overcome the healing of Yah. The trials of affliction will not overcome the riches of Yah. That's a fact. He said, let me try them. Let me try your Eyob. Let me try him. You know what kind of man he is, but let me touch him. I show you what he got. Then he said to Yah the ultimate, that one that you call the word, my words are greater, more powerful. Look at what Chabad did. He goes constantly before Yah, accusing the YisraYah'ale. Let me try him. Let me touch him. He will curse you to your face. And we actually do that. Because we don't love each other, we don't care, we get upset. Yah's angry with the wicked every day. We undoubtedly there's a seed of anger as we get angry when he's out all the time. That's sick. That's sick. Yah said, I will mark them. He said, I marked Chava. He said, sure you did. Nobody saw that. He marked her with that spirit. That's what he did. He marked her with that mind of Naw-khawsh. And she defies Yah. He said, mark them. Mark every last one of them that cry and sigh against the abomination of this place. And those that are marked, you don't touch. And this was not done in some kind of physical form. It was done in spiritual. So how can someone tell me a physical application of a chip that's going to be done by a physical man? That's the mark of Yah. He sent the Melachim to redeem his people. He doesn't send no jack fra like me. No man can't even come to him unless he draws him. True. So he doesn't send you to redeem his people. He has sent one. The man, the one man to redeem his people. You don't redeem nobody. You can't even save yourself from this untoward generation. Save yourself.
Hallelujah.
You got some kind of spiritual death? We don't. And it's a front. It's a front. That's why you're going to start with the old men, because they're crazy. They're silly, they're immature. He's going to bust their head. They start with the old men. And then the young ones that are arrogant, kill them all. This is not some kind of chip. That's the pattern from the beginning, right? We see it with the pattern of Cain, and we see with the pattern of Yeskel, right? If there's any other deviation of the pattern, then it's wrong. He's got to wait till 1961 when the chip is like he needs a chip. He didn't need no chip. He took one of the crudest of things. He said, an inkhorn. Take the rightest inkhorn and mark. That's Josiah there. That's what Yasadak check approved of. Shaneka X cross out. And everyone that whose name whose name had the seal, had the mark of Yah. And they were clothed the white, pure they had on the bad. They were bad to the bone. Had on that pure, we can see the linen, what it represented. For the pure or the fine linen is the righteousness of the Kiddushim. You think that's just for now, or was it back then? It has not changed. It is still the same. It is. Yah knows them that are his.
Hallelujah.
And you silly little boys quote the prophet of the Lord's. You were not even born in 61. You didn't know anything about the chip until you heard Alex Jones and those fools. They were talking about this in the 80s. Alex Jones was a fool then. Because I was sometimes listening to him. I said, this man he's absurd. He's crazy. Even with it, because I forgot, what station was he on? It was some station he was on. It was difficult to get it back then. I would listen to Rush Limbaugh, this blowhog, a big old clown he was. And Rush Limbaugh was one that never wanted anyone to challenge him. He was afraid. And Alex Jones is a fool. And most of these that call themselves Hebrew Israelite, they listen to him. They buy his rhetoric. Why? Listen to me, people, please. Why would Yah give evil men the sign up to warn people? He always sends the prophet to warn his people. Yes. He sends a messenger. Why would he give you Alex Jones to warn you? He used the wicked. Not when it comes to spirituality. He used the wicked to do you harm. Now, he doesn't use the wicked to bring forth. That would be crazy. Why would he need Alex Jones? These are racist dogs, the conspiracists. And they don't give a nickel's worth of dog's dung about you. They call yourself a Hebrew Israelite. And Alex Jones have challenged you and to show you, but yet you listen to his program. And you take the lies and you spout that to me, thinking I don't know about this fool. Thinking I don't know about this fool. They got concentration camps. Don't these fools talk like that? Yeah. They got concentration camps all over the world. Well, how, if nobody's eating and they can't buy food now, who's going to guard those that are, you don't see the stupidity of that. You're going to take 99.9% of all New York. You're going to put them in concentration. How do you put 25 million people? You see the stupidity of it. It is so dumb, and those that buy, I've never bought that dumb mess because I knew it was dumb. I knew it was stupid. And I've never let nobody talk to me like that. I would tell them, it is stupid, it's dumb, and I don't buy it. Well, brother, you don't know. How do you know? How do you know? Tell me your thesis. Give me some of your papers. Give me some of your writings. Show me your scholarship. Show me how you deduct that. They can't even do that. They only heard some little fella, somebody, they're recycling and repeating. Yes. And they think that you're that lost and that dumb. You don't even know that they're that dumb and they're dumber than you. I'm not that stupid. I'm not that stupid. I'm an ignorant man. But I'm not a stupid man. I'm not a sottish man. And they think they got something. We the prophets of the Lord. Stay the prophets of the Lord. Stay that way. Yes. You continue to be the prophet of the Lord. Yes. I am a simple messenger of Yahshua HaMashiach. I come with truth. Oh, yes. And I am a warrior. I'm a giver. I fight. I will die in this battle. If you don't like me. If you don't love me. The devil doesn't love me. See that? I saw him up walking with such great delight. I mean, literally. I said, I'm going to, y'all put them hard to anoint him. I was looking for his last week, but I'm going to Hallelujah. 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 He is our healer. Yes. There's no one else. No one else. Hallelujah. I saw you out. And I know you're going to get out. Don't worry. That all things are precious above me to beloved. But we trust you not with the volume of words of prayer. We just say, you are healer. Touch our precious Achim. Raise him up by the power of your truth. And let him walk and dwell in him richly. Why? Because he believes. And with him now, you know that pleases you. And we trust you because of his belief in you. Let it be done according to his belief. And you know what his belief is. In YHWH's name. Hallelujah. 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 That's all right. Hallelujah. That's a fact. Yes, wonderful. I want to begin next Shabbat on the mark. I want to give us some preliminaries, the elementary things, to show us. You cannot have a mark without understanding the concept of the mark. And we see two places that we brought out quite indelibly. Where the mark began, you did not put no brand on Kayan. He didn't. Because I would hear my mother and all of them say, he's marked. They could tell by the way he was going. They could tell the mark of death was something's going to happen to him. You know that's a fact. True. You're older than me. You're older than me. And you've been around long enough to know if I heard it, you have as well. They would see that when I'm going to New York. But baby, don't go to New York. Just stay here. And they go on to New York. And they move out. And she would see him or she when she comes home. And you could see the indications, the mark all on them. You knew what kind of life they were living. You could see the marks. And it was no that I'm living like this. It wasn't that. You could see the lines. You could see the skin. You knew it was something wrong. And so when Kayan went out, they knew that he was bad to the bone. And don't mess with me. When he walked into a place, get away from him. It was just something about him that emanated. Because y'all had his hands on him. Y'all says he's mine. Y'all had his hands on him. And nobody could touch him. This is one of the most violent lies of this time. The chip. Not so stupid. He causes. Now he makes. He commands. He calls. Yah commands. Those that cry and sigh, put the mark upon them. So the devil says, if you can mark them, I can too. Y'all said, but they have the mind of Hamashiach. This is false nation. Damn the Alex Joneses and all of those fools. They're wrong. See that camera up here? Can you all see me? Okay. Alex Jones and all of them are liars. And you take the rhetoric of this fool, you create something that is of value. You know you're sick. You know you're sick. This chip thing just started. Am I on that thing, man? Okay. This chip mess just started. 35 years ago, one gave me a book. And I knew it was wrong. And I didn't read it. I knew you that read the newsletter, I said that I didn't even open the book. What I mean that I did not open my mind to that foolishness. I didn't take no time to read that thing. I go, it wasn't on me, man. Down too far. Y'all turn that thing around so I can see, all right? That's all right now, but when you put it up, just make sure I can see. So I knew it wasn't of Yah. It wasn't. And I never read it. And then in the 80s, you had people like Alex Jones and all of the New World Order people. Yeah. How do you know? You know, people are crazy. How do you know what the Bilderbergs do? How does Alex Jones show you some old pictures that's fudgy and all of that? You can't even make out what it's saying. Oh, they sacrifice goats and all that. How is something so secretive? With all the billionaires and the multi-triple-air billionaires that are secluded on an island, and you're going to infiltrate that. When they got an army of guns, you're just as stupid as the ones that received that foolishness. This is a stupid generation. They buy it. And so Alex Jones, you have the Bill Burkhars, then the bodies. That's not the baddest secretive order in the world. Most of those orders don't even really, what they call orders don't even exist. They don't. It's the fact. Why do you think they do it in secret? Because they can't have no power. If they have all that power, what are they going to do? And they're gonna take over everyone and control everyone. Yah's going to give them. Intend for it to be. But it's not like what we think it is. Not like what these religious folks think. Far from it. Far from it. The mark of the beast. Shabbat, next Shabbat, we're going to get into the depth of that, all right? We're going to prove all things by Torah. I want to give us that initial start so we can see where the mark. And every mark that has been placed has been by Yah. It's been by Yah. And the devil he calls. Yah sets the mark. And the devil calls them. He put them in a position to cause them to pledge obedience and abidance unto me. That's what it is. Come on, nation. Yah's people are everywhere. There are folks, they don't even know what the mark of the beast is. You think everybody knows. You don't even know. May the riches of Yah. Let's stand to our feet. You all do send an offering to help in the works of Yah here. Help us to continue this work. Bless you all. Let's turn toward YHWH, even as long as we're in captivity and all things we do, we appreciate you for all things. The simplicity of your truth. Give us wisdom in all things. Open up your wisdom to us as a people that is so simple. We need your strength and your help. Bless your nation, your people, scattered abroad throughout the eras, Yah, and bless them strongly. We barak you in Yeshua's mighty name. Guide us today. Your healing, we rejoice in the power of your hands. Bless our nation, scattered abroad throughout the earth. In Yeshua's name, that's my prayer. I ask. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I'm gonna be there for James
truth shall make you free. For out of Zion comes your deliverance in the year of Jubilee. Oh, hallelujah, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, YHWH. Oh, hallelujah, oh, hallelujah, hallelujah, SHABBAT Yahweh. Oh, hallelujah,